Howdy folks, I'm Harry Arctic Hare, honestly hoping for hot habitats.
I'm Amber.
And here are more hot habitats for us to hope for, like the warm, embracing arms of Reddit stories. Let's get started. That just came out weird. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, My girlfriend's parents surprised me with a visit overseas, and I'm considering breaking up with her. I'm a 28-year-old male, and my girlfriend is a 33-year-old female, and we've been together for a few years and have discussed getting married. Unfortunately, ever since I met her parents last year, their behavior, specifically her mom, has made it difficult for me to see a future anymore. Her mom mistrusts me, and it's all based on superficial impressions and assumptions about who she thinks that I am. I've tried to show her parents patience, and I've been extremely respectful, giving them opportunities to get to know me and overcome their prejudices. Everything came to a head when I went to visit my home country. I have a place here, and I came to see a friend get married. Her parents showed up unannounced and requested a ride from the airport. I immediately called my girlfriend, despite the time difference, because I was in shock. She claimed she had no idea about her parents. They claimed that it was all impromptu, cheap flight, last minute, etc. I just don't buy it. Anyways, I picked them up, and they're currently staying with me in my apartment. They've got no itinerary, but they want me to arrange them to see X, Y, and Z, and of course, they need me as a translator. Everything is apparently too foreign for them. They're lost without me. They refuse to go anywhere without me as an escort. My girlfriend is apologetic, but I just don't see her supporting me in dealing with her parents, especially her mom, who is the instigator. The dad has no backbone and is forced to follow her. I posted another issue a while back too. My girlfriend doesn't support me in setting boundaries, so as for her parents, I fall between a rock and a hard place type situation. I can't tell if I'm being cold and uninviting or if these people are being ridiculous and my girlfriend is so afraid of them that she doesn't even warn me about something like this. I can feel like I can handle anything if she's on my side, but I just don't feel like she is. Maybe I can't be with someone like that. But folks, before we get into like our judgment here, I think the previous post that OP made adds some additional important context. So OP's last post is titled, Am I a jerk for being upset that my girlfriend put an AirTag on my motorcycle to prove a point to her mom? I've never made a Reddit post on this sub before, but I've read a few posts from here occasionally. I'm going to make my submission as concise as possible, but I'm not a great storyteller, and this whole thing is a little more nuanced than my ability to articulate it. I'm a 27-year-old male and my girlfriend is a 33-year-old female. Although our relationship started out very intense and unpredictable, we quickly developed strong feelings and have been together for 3 years. Despite being together for that long, I just met my girlfriend's parents for the first time a few weeks ago. She's an only child and said that she didn't want to introduce anyone that she dated to her parents unless she knew this person was the person she wanted to marry. Her parents also live abroad, and due to COVID, her dad's health problems, they didn't visit her for a little while. She usually went to visit them. It was a big step for her to tell me that she wanted me to meet them, and I did my best to make a good impression. I was raised by my grandmother. When she passed, my older sister took over caring for me. My girlfriend had a stable upbringing. Her parents are wealthy, and she's led a privileged life. We don't have the same life experiences, and it was never a problem until I met her parents. If anything, for some reason, the differences between us added to our relationship in many ways. Unfortunately, I get the impression that her parents were scrutinizing every aspect of my life over dinner that we held on our first meeting, and this included my family. I tried to stay true to myself and maintain my confidence, but I left the interaction feeling like I bombed a test. My girlfriend reassured me that they liked me, but her mood over the few days afterwards suggested otherwise. I called her out on it and pressured her for an explanation. I learned that she's been upset because of a fight that she had with her mother following the dinner. Her mother thinks that I'm just having fun with their daughter, that I will get bored and I will leave her if she's too old and will be wasting her time. Apparently, her mother got this impression entirely from the way that I look, and this judgment about me trumps anything else I share about myself. My girlfriend and I decided to have me spend more time with her family over the coming holidays so that I could be going over there and involving myself in shopping trips, etc. with my girlfriend and her mom, hoping that she would get to know me and overcome whatever skepticism she has. I even spent hours getting a crash course in a strategy board game that her dad plays and started playing with him to continue learning as a form of bonding. Despite feeling like I won her dad over, I felt like her mom was constantly evaluating my loyalty in subtle and unrealistic ways. Examples include overanalyzing how I interact in other public places, reading too much into the way I smile, and the way I show affection towards my girlfriend. According to my girlfriend's mom, the fact that I have a motorcycle makes me extra promiscuous. And that's how this escalated. My sister and I have an 18-year-old dog. It's been a few tough months for him. I think that he's approaching the end. For that reason, usually one of us is always with him. He's on the smaller side, so he's easy to bring along everywhere. Anyways, I've had to leave and give medicine to my dog at certain times of the day because he's on a schedule, and I guess my girlfriend's mom found this to be suspicious. The other day, I left my girlfriend and her family to go to give the dog the medicine, and on my way there, my phone alerted me that an AirTag was traveling with me. When I reached my place, I searched all of my pockets and stuff, and eventually I found it on the motorcycle itself. It was connected to my girlfriend's mom's number. I told my girlfriend, and my girlfriend said that she put her mom's AirTag on my bike to prove to her mom that I was not lying about where I was going. I get that she was trying to defend me, but I feel angry at her. It's hard to articulate, but ever since I met my girlfriend's family, microaggressions by her mom are really getting to me, and it's hard to separate them from my girlfriend, hoping that I'm just overstimulated by all these things, and it will get better after Christmas is over. I'm not sure if I'm a jerk here for being cold towards my girlfriend about the AirTag though, but it's a frustration that I'm having trouble letting go of. Alright folks, between story 1 and 2, what do you think?
I mean, I think OP, probably it's time to get out of this relationship. It's very clear that the girlfriend's parents, the mom in particular, have some control issues.
Yeah.
And the levels to which the girlfriend is willing to stoop to assuage her mom's suspicions are not okay. Like, it should never have crossed her mind to, well, I mean, not necessarily crossed, but she never should have gotten to the point of putting an AirTag on OP's vehicle.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the big problem. One of the big problems here.
And then, like, her whole, like, it's very clear that the mom is there to try and keep an eye on him to make sure he doesn't cheat on his daughter.
Yeah, on the trip back home.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, on the other story. And so, like, if the girlfriend is not willing to set boundaries with her parents and tell them, like, if you keep this up, I'm going to go no contact with you, I don't see how this relationship is salvageable because her parents are going to keep doing this.
Yeah, I mean they've known OP for months at this point in time, and it seems like they're just trying to prove that OP is guilty, right? They're going out of their way to do everything they can to try and make OP feel, catch OP in some kind of trap here. The AirTag thing is especially creepy because it's like she just can't trust OP, and the girlfriend, like you said, seems to acquiesce to their mom almost in the same way the husband acquiesces to the mom, right?
Right. And the fact that she can't set boundaries with her parents and is not willing to set boundaries does not bode well for the future of their relationship. Like, it should have been enough to just say, you know what, mom, I don't care what you think. I trust my partner.
Yeah.
Not to be like, is she so intent on winning her mom over when her mom's not winnable over?
Yeah. Well, and that's it. I think really the crux of the issue is that OP isn't dating the mom. OP is dating his girlfriend. And they need to make that abundantly clear that at this point in time, I'm not trying to win your mom over. She's not a person who I can win over. I'm dating you, and I need you on my side. And if that includes alienating your mom, then that's what we have to do. And like it seems like the dad is on board. They can visit with the dad, but just say, well, we're not visiting with the mom.
Well, I mean, the dad's in kind of like a
he's
questionable,
complicit.
terrible. Yeah, because he's complicit. He's going along on this trip where they're imposing on Opie and expecting him to spend basically every moment chauffeuring them around.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I think he needs to grow a backbone too.
Yeah, he definitely needs to grow a backbone. So many people need backbones in this situation. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not wanting to split the cost of a vacation with my girlfriend because I didn't invite her? I'm a 31-year-old male, and I've been dating my girlfriend, Emily, a 27-year-old female, for about a year. Things have been going really well, and we've been talking about taking a trip together at some point in time. However, the situation got a little messy, and now I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong. A few weeks ago, I started planning a trip with some old college buddies. It's kind of a tradition for us to get together every couple of years, and at this time, we decided on a destination abroad. We're splitting the costs for accommodation, food, and activities. I didn't invite Emily to this trip because we already established it's a guys only thing, and I assumed she would understand. I told Emily about the trip, and she seemed a bit hurt, but she understood and hoped that I would have fun. Fast forward to last week, and Emily surprised me by telling me that she booked tickets to join me on the trip. She said that she figured that she could do her own thing during the day while I hung out with my friends, and we could spend the evenings together. I was caught off guard, and I told her that it wasn't really the plan. She said that she didn't mind and wanted to be there since we had been talking about traveling together. Then she asked if I could split the cost of the accommodation since we would both benefit from her being there. Here's where I might be the jerk. I told her that I wasn't comfortable splitting the cost because 1, I didn't invite her, 2, this trip was never supposed to include her, and 3, I don't think that it's fair for me to pay for something that I didn't agree to. She got upset and said that she thought that I would be happy, that she wanted to join, and accused me of being dismissive of her feelings. She's been distant since then, and now I'm questioning if I was too harsh or inconsiderate. I love Emily, and I enjoy spending time with her, but this trip was planned as something separate. So Reddit, am I the jerk for not wanting to split the cost for a vacation that my girlfriend invited herself on? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. She was not invited, and she's trying to make this into her trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting serious vibes of like, I want to be there to make sure OP isn't cheating.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of another reason why she would have to insert herself into this trip in this way. Like, and if that's the case, I'll look at your relationship and see if there are other points where she is showing jealous or controlling behavior. Because it is not, you know, it's not okay to just go ahead and invite yourself on someone else's pre-planned trip with their friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest problem I have here, right? I mean, it seems like she is doing this as like because she has some kind of insecurity,
Mm-hmm.
she has some kind of control issue. So now she wants to basically try and make sure that OP isn't cheating or any other types of things, and that's not a healthy way to conduct a relationship. She needs to trust that OP is being faithful if this is the motivation behind her wanting to go on this trip, right?
Right. Because it's important for people to be able to have time with their friends without partners. You know, it seems like this is an established friend group that existed well before this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add partners in, it does change the dynamics. So I can understand why they would want a solo guys trip
Yeah,
and not just bring her on board.
exactly. So I think that OP is well within their rights to not want to pay for something. And like he said, he didn't agree to have her on this trip. And maybe OP can reframe this and say, well, I know you really want to go on a trip with me. Why don't we plan on having a trip to somewhere XYZ in the future? That way we can actually spend more time together.
Right. Because that's the other thing is like, how much of this trip is she going to try? Because she's like, oh, well, I'll just take you in the evenings. Does that mean he doesn't get to do anything in the evenings with his friends?
Yeah. Is she going to slowly encroach on the days? Be
Yeah.
like, oh, I was really bored, so I just dropped by.
And so that's one of my big concerns with this whole thing is like, how much of this time is Opie actually going to be able to spend with his friends?
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Blue Green 1956 says, not the jerk. Well, isn't little Miss Emily quite the entitled one? She quote unquote accused me of being dismissive of her feelings, trying to use emotional blackmail to get what she wants. She wants to spend evenings on a guys only trip. Does she know what a guy's trip entails? Advice: tell her that she can go or not, but you will not be spending any time with her. She will have to entertain herself. And Surround Miserable 262 says, dismissing her feelings, this is clearly Darvo. She's in the wrong and reversing it to be the victim. And Blue Green 1956 says, I have a simple rule in life on social media. If I see any of these 3 sentences, I know that what comes next will be complete nonsense. I feel that a real man would. If you love me, you would. I mean, I think the first one, I feel that is not a
no.
BS statement.
Well, that's like how we're taught as kids to frame things as I statements,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if you're trying to put people into gender roles like a real man would, yeah, I can see why that's a problem.
Yeah. Or the whole emotional blackmail. If you love me, you
Oh
would
yeah,
do X,
yeah,
Y, and
that
Z
one,
too.
yeah.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 37-year-old female and my boyfriend, a 38-year-old male, made me pay for Airbnbs on his road trip. Like the title says, my boyfriend took a road trip to visit his parents in Seattle for Christmas alone and was driving back to the city where we live, Austin, Texas. He asked me to ride back with him for company and to assist with his dog. I paid for my flight out to Seattle from my parents in Missouri. He told me to book the Airbnb in the cities along the way, 4 total, and gave me a checklist for what he wanted, and they needed to be dog friendly. He said that we would settle afterwards, and I booked them. It was our first trip together, and we've been dating 4.5 months, so I didn't think anything of it. Now that we're back at home, I looked and I paid for over $1,000 for the Airbnbs. And when I told him this, he said, well, I paid for ours the first 2 nights and it was $600 a night and I paid for all the gas in the car. The Airbnbs were his choice and they all had to accommodate his dog. At one point on the trip, when I complained that we weren't doing anything that I wanted to do, like stop to sightsee at spots or going out at night, he said, well, this is a trip for the dog. If I didn't have him, then I would have flown. He was going to need places to stay, whether I was there or not. Do I approach the subject again to see if he'll split the cost, or should I have been expected to pay for this? My friends are all baffled that he didn't offer to at least pay for half, since he needed them anyways, because he's a trust fund kid and I'm not. And I use PTO and my own money. But I've never been in this situation before, so I'm hoping someone else has. All right, folks, have you ever been in this situation? And if so, what have you done?
I have not been in this situation, but I would break up with him. I mean, first of all, he said one thing. He said, we will settle this. I'll settle this after you book things.
Yeah.
And which gives the impression that he's saying he's going to pay for it. And
Yeah.
then he tries to cheap his way out.
Yeah.
Secondly, this was never a vacation for OP. She didn't get to do any of the things she wanted. And he said repeatedly this was for his dog.
Yeah.
Why is OP, I mean, she took paid for her own flight to Seattle. She took her own PTO. Why should she now be covering the Airbnbs that they got for his dog specifically?
Yeah, I mean, this was clearly not a trip for OP, and if, I might see his point a little bit more if there was actual, like, road tripping involved here, right? Be like, oh, well, this was just kind of an impromptu vacation, it would be nice if you paid for at least some, right? But even then, because he asked OP to come along.
Yeah.
OP spent their own money and their own PTO to come and keep him company at his request. And then, OP trusted him enough to expect him to pay her back for the accommodations that he had a specific checklist for. Like, OP might have gotten cheaper accommodations if she knew she was going to have to cover them for only herself.
Well, exactly. Well, and like what you're kind of going off of that, if he was going to expect her to pay for it, some of this that should have been stated up front.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he hid it from her, like suggests that he probably knew she wouldn't be on board with paying for his dog's trip. And then like, oh, well, I did all this stuff, so you should be grateful. This is a manipulative person.
Yeah.
He's not a good partner. He is using you.
Well, and that's what it feels like. They've been dating for 4.5 months, and this feels like he is actually literally using her. I would, if I were OP, consider taking him to small claims court and getting the money back at this point in time, because this is one of those situations where OP didn't really know what they were getting into. He made it sound like he was going to pay her back. He may not have said it explicitly, but there was the implication. Like, settling things, what he meant is not clearly what OP thought he meant.
Right. He said it in kind of a dodgy way.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Speaking of dodgy things, all right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a dodgy joke.
Why did the witch go to the pub?
Clearly, she went to the pub to avoid being taken in and arrested. And plus, like, if she went to the pub, then she could turn some of the patrons into frogs and then dodge more repercussions. And then she would be then a happier witch. That's why she went to the pub.
She heard they had great brews.
Yeah. But what about the frogs?
There's no frogs in there. Today is brew a potion day.
Yes, to turn people into frogs.
That's what that can be your potion. Just don't feed it to me.
And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks. And you know what makes it special? You do, and Amber does too.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on impromptu trips or trips in general.
Be honest about the expectations of the trip from the get-go.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.